Mic check.
Mic check. Recuérdame. Re-recording.
Sí.
Bienvenidos, amigos, and welcome back to another episode of the More Life Diaries podcast. And yes, you've guessed right. This is a podcast. So we're going to be chatting your ear off for the next 30 minutes to an hour about our life here in Mexico, about what we've lived, what we've observed, cultural differences, and everything in between. So if that's your thing, stay tuned. If not, we got plenty more videos for you to watch. Ready to do this?
Lista.
What's been going on?
What's been popping?
Starting with this celebration that I went to the other night at the church. So there was a church near the stadium, and this was a couple of weeks ago, I think. It was before Dia de los Muertos. And our neighbor was taking her kid there, and that's kind of like Bassie's best friend. So they invited us to go. It was later on at night, and it was pretty cool. Like, they closed off the full street. There was a whole carny type of vibe there.
Carnival, not carny.
Carnival type of vibe, like bouncy castles, and a lot of stuff for kids, a lot of food as well. And then there was this huge structure right by the church in the middle of the road. And I was like, what's that for? And she's like, they're going to set off fireworks. And there's like houses that are maybe like 10 meters away on both sides. And finally they set off like different levels of fireworks for that. It's shooting all over houses. It was shooting all over the church, electrical wires. And I'm like, this is going to start a fire for sure. So I posted about it online, and everyone was like, what is going on? So
Also, the shape of the thing that was on fire was a cross.
Yeah, the last one was a cross. I don't think it was meant to look like it was on fire, but it was like fireworks shooting off of it so that it was spinning in a circle. And I posted online. People are like, what kind of festival
what was the festival for?
I'm not sure. It was something to do with the church. Really cool, though. Like, a lot of people from the neighborhood came out. They were there. A lot of people having fun. Just a really cool thing to see that you wouldn't necessarily even know is there if you live on like the street over. You know what I mean?
It's very much like with the parish.
Yeah, with the parish, there was people singing, people dancing. I don't know if it was like a kickoff to Dia de los Muertos, but if you know, definitely comment down below. And this is the church that's closest to the stadium.
Between the stadium and the fish market, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was just a really cool experience.
Late night, weekday.
Yeah, very late night. It was the last night that they were doing it. And it's just cool to, see everyone out there. Also, they were I noticed that some of the games were giving out this like spray can shaving cream. Is like in a spray. And all these kids had it, but they were shooting it at each other. And it was going all over everyone, basically. I got sprayed. These old abuelas got sprayed. And the one was like, Mexican people are so patient that like they were getting sprayed. Whereas like in Canada, it would have been such a big deal. Here, they were like just giving the kids dirty looks. So this one lady was so mad because she got sprayed so bad. And her whole chair got sprayed, and she got up to get cleaned off and came back and was just like giving the dirtiest look. And her friend just... Guys, we are very happy to announce one of our first partnerships with the Mexico Relocation Guide.
What it is a comprehensive directory of all the things you need to make a move to Mexico. It has information and contacts on residency, medical care, real estate, pets, and more. You name it, it's got it.
Anything from, the immigration process when you're starting off back home, and any help and assistance you may have once you're here in Mexico. This thing is great. We definitely wish we had something like this when we moved here or were even thinking about moving here. They're helping people get residency every day. So we've left an affiliate link down in the description below at no extra cost to you. If you do decide to purchase this Mexico relocation guide, you will be supporting us as well. And I also strongly suggest you guys go on the website and sign up to their newsletter. Mariana sends multiple newsletters every week, and they're honestly really, really interesting with valuable information. So thank you so much, guys. Hit the link down below. Let's get back to the podcast. Laughing at her. I'm like, man, everyone is so patient. Kathleen didn't make it.
Yeah, so it was late and Callie already was sleeping, so I stayed back.
Yeah.
And also, like, Mark didn't really know where he was going. He was just like, apparently there's fireworks at the church. I'm going to go see what it is. And so I don't think he was expecting.
Yeah, I didn't really understand like
castle.
what they were saying because they're like, oh yeah, bring money. Like you can bring money, you can do stuff there. And I was confused because I'm like, it's fireworks, right?
Also, I thought you were going to church up the hill that we can see from our balcony. Like I was looking, I'm like, there's no fireworks. I didn't realize it was like another.
Yeah, it was cool. It was like very, very lively. Yeah, just stuff like that is cool to see because it's not like we would have otherwise ever even known about it or like gone there. Yeah. There's another really big carnival. Remember the one by Food Park last year?
Oh yeah, that's like an actual like carnival fair,
like a very
like a
big
legit
fair.
one.
Yeah, which would be nice to go to this year. I think there was an issue with one of the rides last year. Someone got
like electric shock.
And
we were new here and we're just like generally we're kind of hesitant with like the fair setups because they go up so fast and stuff. So
anywhere and
it's
everywhere.
not like it's in Mexico.
And I refuse to do any rides.
Yeah, Mark won't go Canada, wherever. He's just like hesitant about it. And then I was reading on like some group chat about someone who did get like a mild electric shock from something, like the Ferris wheel or whatever. So we were like, maybe.
Which I'm surprised doesn't happen more often because there's electrical wires everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, even with the place I went, like they were shooting fireworks into the wires hanging from the street. So very surprising. But yeah, I think we'll be checking that out. And do you want to talk a little bit about, I guess, Halloween first or Dia de los Muertos?
Yeah, so Halloween came first on the 31st, of course. We arrived here like right after or like the second, I guess, the 1st or 2nd of November. So we would have missed Halloween. And we were kind of under the impression that they didn't really do Halloween because it was more like Dia de los Muertos. Halloween being very like American Canadian. A lot of, from what I understood, even when we were in Chile, like it was something that is sort of being introduced into other countries, but it's not as big as it was back home or is back home. And so we weren't really expecting much, but we heard that like certain places here have trick-or-treating for kids. Like if you go to a mall, they might, like the shops might give out candy. And then we heard that the Malecon does it. So we're like, let's go there. It'll be nice. You go at sunset. We're outside. Like, even if there's not a lot going on, we can see like the Katrinas and stuff that were already up. So we went. The kids had Callie had like a skeleton shirt and Bassie had his old Mario costume. We brought a couple bags of candy because we just heard that people just give out the candy to the kids and businesses as well. So yeah, we went. It was still bright out, so it's probably like 6:30. When we got there, we thought it was like, okay, it's somewhat busy, pretty normal though. Kids there, and then it turned into Halloween night. It's wild here. Like they are really into it. We were very, very surprised. The 2 bags of candy that we brought, Mark basically ran out of that within like 100 feet of the Malecon, entering the Malecon.
Yeah, like swarmed by kids.
Yeah, once they realize you have candy, they are all over you until you do not have candy anymore. So we were walking and it's kind of like your friend described it like Mardi Gras, but for Halloween, like people were throwing candy off the balconies of restaurants. Other people were getting swarmed for the candy. Like once kids realize you have it, like everyone goes to you, gets the candy. The costumes were amazing. I think like great costumes, a lot of classic costumes. Like
which we
Ghost. I haven't
appreciate.
seen a ghost costume in real life in so long.
Yeah.
Lots of Chuckies.
I don't think you can wear the white sheet anymore.
It can look
Yeah.
wrong very easily.
Just like, the classic like Chucky doll.
Yeah.
And like the doll ones, the ghost,
The Calavera face paint,
Yeah.
like really, really good ones.
And
People get
also
into
like
it.
the parents were dressed up, the kids, newborns, it didn't matter. Like they were really into
dogs.
the costumes.
There was a pinata
yeah.
dog. It would look really, really cool.
Yeah.
Apparently there was a baby pinata. I didn't see it in real life, but I saw a picture and super cute. So everyone's really, really into it. The face paint's amazing. So it's fun to see. By the time we left, like someone warned us when we got there, they're like, maybe leave by 8 o'clock because it gets pretty crazy and we have obviously small kids. By 8, it was jam-packed on the Malecon. Like we could not let Callie walk because we would have lost him or he would have been stepped on.
Yeah.
There was even parts with Bassie. I was like kind of, like hugging him to walk through because I was worried that someone was going to like just trample him.
Yeah. It was like very like, think of like a very busy concert. Like,
I've never seen, even New Year's, I don't think it was that busy throughout the whole stretch of the Malecon. So it was cool. Like it was nice to see people really came out. We were leaving and there was still tons of people coming in. I guess what happens after is people throw candy from the cars. And they like go up and down that main road. Yeah,
there's like motorcycle crews. There's car crews that come by, throw candy.
Would have been cool to see, but it was quite crowded. And with all the installations of the Katrinas that were there already.
And we had been there for a couple hours.
Yeah, like it just wasn't like, it was too much for the like little kids. But it was definitely cool. Way more than we were expecting.
Like where we're from in Toronto, Halloween is basically dead. We've gone trick-or-treating once and it was not this at
There's
all.
some really cool like
there's some cool areas,
like cool decorations like on the yards and stuff like that, I will say. But like in terms of like, I remember as a kid, Halloween, like the streets were filled with kids and like you were knocking on the door and there was like tons of other kids with you and it was just like a whole like energy.
It's not like that anymore. And now like a lot of kids go at like 4 or 5. Like they get home from school, they go trick-or-treating right away. I don't know. To me, it's just not very Halloween-ish. It's just like, hey, give me candy.
Yeah.
I hear give me candy. So yeah, like I used to love Halloween as a kid and going from, what we were experiencing before, leaving to come here. And this is a whole different.
Yeah, this is like 90s Halloween.
Yeah. And it's cool because here people don't do the Halloween decorations on their house because they have like the ofrendas, and like that's their decorations. But on the Malecon, they were like very nice Dia de los Muertos. So it was very festive in that way.
It kind of goes together well, even though like it's important to note that they are two separate occasions. Like, they're not the same thing. But the calaveras and the Katrinas go well with the theme of Halloween. So it kind of just looks good and it works out.
Yeah.
They're kind of scary. So
it's cool to see a lot of the people that were giving out candy were like older, Americans or Canadians, older folk that brought candy. So it was nice to see like that exchange, them giving back in a way and being, part of the festivities, probably the way that, they were when they were younger, like they raised their kids, like taking them out for Halloween. So very cool to see that exchange. There were a lot of people, just bringing bags of candy to the Malecon and then handing them out and getting swarmed. Yeah.
I think the best way to do it is to get one of those balcony seats at a restaurant. Because then you can't get swarmed.
Some people were sitting at restaurants giving away candy, but
then the
whole restaurant was getting like kids.
Yeah.
So the balcony is cool. Yeah. Or just like we brought a couple little bags and just gave them out. Like it's just kind of.
It goes quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can get like a lot of pretty inexpensive candy at the party stores because they have them for the piñatas. So that's just fun fact. If you're coming here and you want to participate, go to the piñata store or the party stores and get those like large sacks of candy. That's the best bang for your buck. You could go to Costco, but you'll obviously pay a bit more. But yeah, the candy receivers will appreciate, the
Yeah.
American candies and stuff like that. One thing I wanted to say, because this irked me, is there was one particular, I wonder if it'd be so funny if he was watching, but he was I guess American person who was giving out candy selectively to people he thought had really good costumes and was trying to explain that in English, which I don't think a lot of people are understanding, that he was only giving out one really nice American candy to people that he thought had a really good costume. But what would happen is that everyone else would swarm him, seeing that he was pulling out a candy, and it would take him a long time to get the candy from his bag.
He was pulling out one at a time out of his backpack.
And so people are swarming, anticipating this candy. They don't understand what he's saying or trying to explain. They're just seeing someone giving candy, and then he would just zip up his bag and go. And like people were not
people are like,
happy.
what? Like what's going on?
One candy to this one. They don't know. Like I understood, and like understanding it didn't make it any better, because I was like, hey, like that's not, the spirit of the night.
The costume that the kid's wearing is special to that kid.
Yeah, and you don't know, like not everyone can afford to get like a really cool costume or to make something really special. Like some people can just, do the face paint or do
what
a
was
mask.
he dressed up as again? He was
Bob. Who's the guy that paints?
Oh, Bob the
painter. It was a cool, I don't know if that's a thing here. If people know who that is here, I'm not sure, but whatever. It was it was a cool costume, but he was just being very selective with his candy, and people were not understanding. And even if like for a kid, even if they understand your words,
it's the equivalent of giving out candy at your door, and you're being selective on who you're giving the candy to, and they're coming up to your door.
The little kids
there's
are
no door, you're just there on a malecon. But
and they feel hurt that they don't get it. They don't understand that you're just like only. So don't do that. Don't be Bob Ross, okay? If you're gonna give candy,
it's not
just
Bob
give
Ross.
the candy.
Is it Bob Ross? Bob Bob.
I don't know.
Bob Ross
the painter.
On Netflix. That guy's such a sweetheart too.
He would give candy to everyone.
He'd give candy to
everyone.
everyone.
It's different if you run out, but don't selectively give it to people, because it just like for little kids especially, they don't understand and they're just excited and they want candy.
Yeah.
So don't judge the costume, or if they don't have like the little pumpkin thing to take the candy, like just, or if you think they're too old, like don't gatekeep your candy.
Yeah,
folks.
Just give it away and then move on. And thank you for bringing candy. But it was just a really weird thing to like be selective with your candy from America for some reason.
Yeah, I don't even know what it was, but he said it was a really good one. And I was like, what is it?
I want to know. We wouldn't have qualified.
No, Bassie was like, why didn't I get one? I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah. That's definitely a Halloween buzzkill. But overall, Halloween was really good. We got a lot of good footage from it, or hopefully good. So I'm putting an episode together now, and we'll kind of put Halloween and Dia de los Muertos together, and just show you guys in a vlog like what we were up to.
And for the older people.
And I actually got video of this gentleman as well. So
for the older people, just grown-ups in general, like there are a lot of other activities that happen surrounding Halloween, other parties, dress-up parties for adults, sort of after the Malecon. So, and there was a lot of like, foreigners, tourists dressed up as well, grown-ups going to dinner and doing stuff. So if you're here at Halloween, if you're coming at Halloween, like get festive, get into it, bring candy, bring a costume. There are things going on. It is celebrated here fully. So it's
just fun, even if you go for a walk on a Malecon, to like be a part of it, because it's not like anything we've ever seen, and it's significantly better than what Halloween is back home.
Yeah. And other things that were happening. I know one of the malls had like a pet costume contest. So people brought their pets in costume. That looked really cool. There were some cute photos from that. So if you're into that, if you have a pet with you, like there's something for everyone, basically, is what I'm saying.
What did we do for Dia de los Muertos?
So Dia de los Muertos officially is November 2nd, but there's a bunch of days that lead up to it. And basically each day there's a different sort of, I don't know if theme is the right word, but you're celebrating or remembering different people in your life, or pets. There's a day for pets. There's a day for people that died too soon or died tragically. And then the second is just like in general, remembering people, remembering your loved ones. And that is when they have the parade. So what did we do?
We wanted to see the parade.
Oh, wait, let's rewind. Mark went to his first Dia de los Muertos celebration in the neighborhood.
And it wasn't Dia de los Muertos, but it was our neighbor's daughter, our neighbor's 70-something, his daughter's birthday.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. But went to his first neighborhood party. How was it?
It was good. Yeah, it was nice just to get to know the neighbors, speak to them, Spanish, obviously, practice, have a few bebidas. And
a few tragos.
Yeah, it was just nice overall.
Yeah, so it was kind of like we didn't know that it was going to happen. I had put Callie to bed, so again, got stuck in the house, but I could hear everything.
Yeah.
I could hear all the music. At one point, I feel like this was at like midnight. I heard Bassie on a microphone.
Yeah, Bassie was out with me late too because one of his friends lives there, or it's his grandfather's house. So he was there. Bassie got on the mic, said some stuff. It's funny because he's shy in certain scenarios, but others he's like, yeah, I'll get up on this mic and say stuff. Late night for me and Bassie, but it was really cool just to be with, Mexicans and locals and have, conversations finally, which is what we've always wanted since we've moved here, and we almost got none of in Cinco de Diciembre neighborhood.
So it was a fun night, rough morning.
Yeah, rough morning for sure, but a fun night. And I heard that, our neighbor's actual birthday is bigger than Christmas. So we'll catch you guys up on that and see what's going on there. But Christmas on our street, or Christmas Eve, is apparently very, very festive as well. They close down the full street. They have decorations. They probably bring a bounce castle, food. So we're really excited to celebrate Christmas Eve in this neighborhood.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
So back to Dia de los Muertos, what did we do?
Went to see the first parade, which was the cowboy.
Yes. What's the word for it again?
Gaucho.
No, yeah, it's gaucho, but they have like that thing they can't.
There's a specific
name. There's a specific word.
Yeah.
Chara.
Yeah.
Chara.
And we almost missed it because we were trying to get into Cinco de Diciembre neighborhood to park. They were marching towards the Malecon, and there was crazy traffic. So Kathleen and Bassie hopped out. I'm like, here's the camera, get footage. Because we missed the last parade that we wanted to attend with charas.
Yeah. And this one is like the same thing, but they have like costumes and face paint and stuff like that. So me and Bassie were supposed to hustle to the Malecon, but there's no hustle with Bassie. You have to stop and go to the washroom.
Yeah.
And wants to look at everything. So we did get there, I think probably not too much earlier than you.
Yeah, me and Callie parked and ran.
Yeah.
But I could just grab them.
And then, it was really good. It was cool to see. They had bands and they were marching through.
Yeah.
So that was a really fun thing to watch.
That one specifically is fun for the kids too, because there's a whole bunch of horses. So it's just cool to see.
Music. It was fun. Then we just kind of walked along the Malecon, saw some of the Katrinas that were up. The big one was not up. We kind of was cool. We saw the big Katrina up in different phases of its construction. But that was that day. And then there's a day where they actually inaugurate the Katrina, which is, I think, again, second year in a row, the largest one in the world, World Guinness Book of Records breaking. Katrina, it has a different dress this year. Last year it was blue. This year it was black.
I didn't know that the Katrina was a symbol in other countries as well. Or is it just maybe Mexicans in other countries?
Yeah. I guess out of Mexico, other Mexicans in other countries, this is the biggest one.
Yeah. Or maybe it's one of those things. They're worldwide. they know damn well it's just
There's no one
Mexico.
Else. No one else.
It sounds so much better than Mexico wide.
But I guess someone in California could beat them if they were celebrating. But where there's a larger populations. But it's really big. And it has a different dress this year. I think it might be slightly bigger. I think they outdid themselves again this year. So that's cool. And they have a day where they kind of unveil it. We didn't go to that one, but then we went to the parade
on Dia de los Muertos. Yeah. We went to the Panteon, which is the cemetery. That we've shown in a previous video, the oldest cemetery in PV. Beautiful place. It's right beside the fish market. So that's where they start. That's kind of like where they group together. And then they march down the street all the way to, I guess, like almost.
I think they go to Plaza de Armas.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's beautiful to see like people dressed up.
That's where they stop, Plaza de Armas?
Oh no, sorry. It's Lázaro Cárdenas, like the one with all the
one
tile,
in like Zona Romantica.
So yeah, like then people join on the way. So if you're like further along, I think the crowds get bigger, but you see more parade. Very beautiful again, like really nice decorations and floats and stuff like that.
Dancing, like dancing bands. Everyone's dressed up, very festive. People are like have chairs pulled out and are sitting on the side of the road to look at it.
Lots of candy as well being thrown at kids from the floats. So we got even more candy.
So we saw the beginning of it, and it gets even bigger and bigger. I was getting drone shots, and I could see like people waiting to jump in, like cars, and
again very crowded. If you're not a fan of crowds and you want to see the parade, I would advise to go where we were, because it wasn't too crowded at that point. So at the beginning of the parade in Cinco, near the cemetery. And there are a lot of other events that that go around Dia de los Muertos. I think there was like a couple days before, there was they have the wall around the cemetery. They have murals on them. So I guess they redo the murals maybe every other year. So they had artists a few days before painting there, and you could kind of, come and join. And there was bands playing while they were doing that. And
locals typically go and repaint or touch up the actual, like, what do you call it? Not tombstone.
Tombstone? Yeah, the graves.
The graves, the graves. They go and repaint them, bring fresh flowers, bring
so part
candles,
of the celebration of that would be like cleaning, leaving like things for the dead at their sites, as well as having the ofrendas at home. And I think that is important to say, although it might seem like a really cool cultural practice to foreigners, like when people are in the cemetery and doing that, that's not something to document.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff is like if they're painting outside the murals, for sure, document the parade, of course, all these sort of parties and festivities, document it, take photos if you want. But the actual, because I know that there have been complaints from locals, the actual like stuff that happens in the cemetery where people are going to pay their respects and celebrate and remember their loved ones.
It's like a special, intimate time to do that, right?
Yeah, it's not it is their practice. It is it's not something that they're recreating of the past. That is their current practice. It is them mourning loved ones. So just to be respectful and not record those moments, take photos of those moments. There is a tour that happens in the Panteon the day, like Dia de los Muertos, earlier on before the parade, that I'm sure if you want to take part in, then you can take photos. You can take photos in the cemetery, but just like if someone's there doing their thing, to be respectful, keep your distance and not photograph that.
Yeah, even just because I was trying to document, obviously, like as much of it as possible. We didn't go into the cemetery at all. I flew my drone over like early in the day, but even taking videos or pictures of like the ofrendas, which is a table that they set out in front of their house with pictures of loved ones that have passed, traditional decorations,
things that they like those people that pass at lights,
a lot of beer, and even just kind of taking pictures of that, which I did. I'm gonna blur out the people's kind of faces just because I want to show the things that they put out. But it is just a very cool cultural thing to get to experience and to show.
And to note the one that you took photo of, that's our neighbor. So we kind of know, they know that who we are. That's not like a weird thing. Just to use like your own common sense when taking photos of personal ofrendas. A lot of the businesses will have them up if you want to take a photo of one. Along the Malecon across the street, there's a bunch
laid out near the Plaza de Armas that you can take photos of. But yeah, if you're in a neighborhood, obviously just like you don't know the people that you're taking photos of, they're a friend. Just use caution. Like not caution, but like common sense and like be respectful.
Yeah.
So yeah, the one that you took photos of was people we know. Like, so it's a little bit different.
And I left a pan de muertos there too. Yeah, such a cool thing to be a part of here. I don't think we have anything like that in Toronto. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that brings like everyone together like that.
Not in Toronto.
Yeah, no. Definitely not. It's culturally very different. And yeah, probably like one of my favorite times to be here, I'd say, is like Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah, it was like really nice to see. And they kind of, I don't know, like I noticed this, that they all put out the altars on the same day. I don't know if there's an official day that you're supposed to do that, but I did notice that like everyone on the street did it the same day. And we were kind of making like a comment or like, do they take shifts in the music? There's always music on our street at night. Like someone's blasting music, but it's only one person and it's different. So I don't know if they're like, okay, Wednesday's your day. You can choose the music. You play the music today. Like they're never competing.
It's always a different house, but they're never competing in music.
Yeah, so
like, I'm going to. Maybe they play it for the neighbors.
Yeah, I think it's intended for everyone. Like, why wouldn't you like this song?
It's all like classics. I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's all like traditional, like Mexican regional music or classics. But it got really sad on Dia de los Muertos. If you paid attention to the lyrics, I was like, okay.
Yeah, Dia de los Muertos. It was a good one. It was also our 1-year anniversary of living in Puerto Vallarta. So we crossed the border in Laredo, which was like a week before that probably. But we arrived around that time last year. So kind of a special. It didn't like really... We didn't do anything special, really. Yeah. We just took part in Dia de los Muertos, like festivities. But maybe we'll celebrate. We kind of celebrated, actually. We checked out a new beach, which I wanted to get to last Sunday. Playa
Caballeros.
Playa Caballeros. Which is between Punta de Mita and Sayulita. And we had heard very, very good things about this beach. And it did not disappoint. And we hadn't gone to a new beach in quite some time.
New beach, not nude beach.
New beach. Although there's nude people at non-nude beach sometimes.
Semi-nude.
And throughout like the whole summer, we were just kind of checking out beaches around here. I'd say it does get very, very hot during the day. So it was hard to even go sit on a beach somewhere because you're like dying from heat and the water's really warm. Hot. So this was the first time. And it just kind of felt really good to leave the surrounding areas. And it's about an hour away. And just check out something new, which is what we did quite often when we got here during the winter. A lot nicer to check out like nude beaches. And
the sand was really nice, like really powdery sand.
So I had looked it up before and I had read reviews. Everything was really nice. Also important to mention that a beach could be nice 1 week and the next week it's like a complete disaster because the tide changed. It brought a whole bunch of rocks in. So Kathleen didn't really know anything about it, but I had heard that it was beautiful and it didn't disappoint. We're going to put up another vlog about that to show you guys because that beach seems to be really off the beaten path. Like,
and there wasn't
that path was beat up.
It was a rough road, but there wasn't a lot of people, which was nice. There wasn't there was one vendor that we saw, maybe two, in the whole time we were there, and it was really pretty. I was gonna say something and I forgot. So the beaches. We often get questions from you guys about like what beach is best, where are some nice beaches around here, and that goes to like Mark's point, like it changes. It's so hard to say for us to be like absolutely this beach because
maybe like 9 out of 10 times or 8 out of 10 times that beach is really nice. But depending on, the tide, the levels, if there was a storm the day before, it can really change. Like our favorite beach is Conchas Chinas. And normally it's, really clear water, low tide. The kids can swim in these little like natural pools. But we've been there when it was just high tide and that stuff's not there and it's not as nice or easy to swim in. So it depends. It depends on.
Yeah, even like
so many
I
factors.
did was read Google reviews about this beach, and they're all over. Most of them say it's really nice, but they are all over. I've noticed that some people write in Facebook groups, like has anyone gone to the beach in the last few days, like this specific beach? How is it there? That way they can kind of gauge, how it's going to be. But yeah, we've gone to beaches and they've been completely like different and opposite. So it's really hard to recommend.
The one thing that we can only really recommend is like crowds. Like that's the only thing that I can find is predictable.
Yeah.
Like Playa de los Muertos in January is crowded. It's a mess.
On
like,
Sundays for the most part too. Any beach would be very crowded. But yeah, like those
and the ones where they're sort of like central romantic zone, those ones are crowded.
And we've kind of recently discovered a new close beach to Playa de Joli.
Playa Joli, hasn't been crowded either time that we went. It's quite like a big, like, how do you call that? Like the sand part is really long.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of places to sit.
Not swimmable. So it's not very swimmable. The water does break and come very high. So you can kind of like the kids can run around in the water, but the waves are quite aggressive there.
You can surf.
But really, really nice beach. I call it like a weekday beach. It's one you just go sit at, chill.
It's easy to get to. It's actually right behind La Isla Mall.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's parking for free there. Obviously, you can get some stuff done in the mall if you need to.
And the sunsets there are beautiful. And you get a full kind of skyline coastal view of like the downtown core. Yeah. So really nice beach if you are in the area. Playa de Joli. They recently had a big volleyball tournament there, but the sand's just really nice and it's just a cool place to go like chill for a couple hours.
Also not a lot of vendors. There is a little restaurant there as well. And the mall.
Which is surprising for us because it is in hotel zone. Yeah. And we wouldn't necessarily go there, but we've been wanting to check it out. Specifically because the sand part looked so big and it didn't disappoint either.
I think nice. A lot of the hotels that are right there have really nice pools. And so I guess I'm assuming the guests tend to stay at the pool where there's service and stuff like that. But it's nice.
It's really nice. I wanted to touch on a little bit about driving in Mexico. So I see all the time on Facebook groups, people are like concerned, asking about safety issues driving to Mexico. Of course, being in a Facebook group, they get destroyed in the comments. The usual by the usual suspects. But driving in Mexico overall, like we obviously drove here from the border. It's very different, first of all, depending on where you are, what state you're in. Like the condition of the roads is completely different. If you're on a highway versus if you're on a side road is very different. For me, we never really had an issue driving. Driving here, we stayed mostly on main highways, paid tolls, very beautiful, regular style highways, paved, no issues. Watch for the topes, which is speed bumps.
But the topes weren't really on the toll roads. They come right before the tolls, basically, so you don't speed through the tolls. But like throughout the actual stretch of road, like there's no random topes on the toll roads until you get to the little boxes.
Yeah. And I used to never really look at signs on the highway, but you want to look at signs here because they'll tell you when the tope is arriving. And you can't necessarily see it. Like often they don't paint it a different color. It's just like the same color as the highway, and then just destroys your cars, which
like
has
on
happened.
the sort of not toll, like within the city highways, there are topes and you do not see them. You just have to know, or hopefully there's people in front of you that are slowing down for them, and then you know to slow down for them.
Yeah. And even here, like on the 200, like the main highway going down south, for example, there are just random topes a little bit everywhere. And that is kind of like the main highway. So it's just be careful for those. Otherwise, yeah, I find driving here to be pretty straightforward. There's some differences in terms of like turning lanes and those types of things, which you basically just trial and error. One ways are often just suggested one ways, so there's still cars going both ways. But yeah, it's different, but I'd say it's not any. I'd say it's probably a little bit safer because people aren't driving as fast and people are more considerate of other people. But it at the same time, it is kind of like an aggressive way of driving. Like if you want to turn in somewhere, you need to like turn in. You let the car know you're going, like it's your turn. Because if you wait to turn anywhere, then you're not going to get in. Right?
You know where I noticed there's topes? Like it looks random when you're on the road, but it's right before someone can turn in.
Yeah, it's basically where like you normally see a light or a stop sign, they'll put a tope to slow things down.
Yeah, so it's like that person who wants to turn into the road has time to go onto the main road. Because like I thought someone was going to crash the other day because like he started to turn. I'm like, there's a car right there, but then the car had two topes to go over, so it slowed it down so much that the other guy could just go.
Yeah. Otherwise, driving to me here is not very stressful at all. I'm not a stressed type of person either.
No, he's not.
What do you think?
Yeah, you're a good driver. You're a good driver.
Stop signs are recommended stops, but not required.
I am not a good driver. I get stressed. I do not drive here. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Not my thing. And yeah.
Yeah, if you're a stressed driver, maybe it's not the best place for you to drive.
Like if you can't drive me somewhere, I just take an Uber. I'm not dealing with it.
Again, there's Uber. Uber is pretty cheap here. There's cabs.
The bus.
There's another
is cheap
one
and pretty straightforward too.
And they go up and down the coast as well. But yeah, driving, it's been pretty straightforward, I'd say. In terms of safety and stuff, obviously there has been issues with like people in army gear that aren't actual like soldiers or part of the Marine, like stopping cars over and like asking for money, taking their belongings. Like those stories do exist. It's not necessarily something that we see often here in PV. Or that I've ever heard of, but like driving on the main highway, going distance where there's nothing around, it does seem to happen. I don't know, how frequent it is, probably not very. But I'd say another thing that is a regular occurrence here is getting pulled over by cops. And
another reason I don't drive.
Yeah.
Mark stays calm. I cannot.
Yeah. So getting pulled over is something that's happened to us at this point like 3 times, I think.
Yeah.
3 to 4 times. And my suggestion is just to stay calm.
Do not speak Spanish.
Don't speak Spanish, speak English, and just accept the ticket. Often they don't actually want to give you a ticket or have anything to give you a ticket about, but just speak English if you can. And like if they're telling you you're going to get a ticket, you're going to get a ticket and then go pay it. Like it'll be a fraction of the cost of a ticket, back in Toronto or Canada. It's really not a stressful thing. Like they're not going to deduct points from you. Your insurance isn't going to get sky high if you get a ticket here. Like you just get a ticket and you go pay it, and that's the end of that.
Yeah, he's so calm.
Yeah, very straightforward. So that's basically driving in Mexico. Not stressful at all. I would try to minimize the things that are visible in your car as well. If you are parking, we had a friend that recently got broken into, not here, but in the northern part of Mexico, because he had, some valuables that were visible. So I'd say like make sure to hide everything, including any loose change, even like 5 to 10 pesos. I usually just clear out of my car. And I'd say that's the exact same precautions you should take in any big city, because we had like some rampant break-ins in Toronto. Like people were going car to car, breaking the windows and taking loose change as well.
Yeah.
Same precautions, just drive, be safe. And that's driving in Mexico. So just to finish up on, so we obviously talked about, things from back home that we really enjoy here that seem to be non-existent, especially for us coming here as a family, cultural gatherings, activities to do with the kids. It almost feels like where we came from is now tailored to individuals and being separate versus being in a community, being together. And what we've noticed is that sometimes people do travel, specifically snowbirds. Snowbirds do travel here and they get annoyed. And that's not every snowbird, I'd say. But a lot of them, they come here, they stay in apartment buildings, and they expect there to be only snowbirds there, no families, no immigrant families, no Mexican families. And they get very annoyed, with the families at the pool. And the thing that we love about Mexico is that, people go to the pool and have fun and bring family members
play
there,
music,
play music,
have potlucks.
Yeah, like
barbecue.
Be chill, splash around. And that to some people is very, very annoying. And that's fine, right? If that's your personality, there's no issues with that. But it is important for you to come here and be respectful of the people that do live here, even not even talking about ourselves, but just Mexican people. Like it's a cultural thing. And there are some buildings that are for, only adults.
Only, yeah.
It's rare to find. You're going to pay a lot more probably for accommodations there, but those things do exist. So yeah, just expect there to be families like that. A big reason that we moved here is because of that cultural aspect of, Mexican culture is how close they are with their families, and they like to be together and they take the time to be together. Whereas there seems to be a clash with people wanting to come here and bring that thing from the USA or Canada that we try to move away from.
Yeah, like the individualism, like we're here, it's all adults and everyone's going to act like adults and not play loud music or music that you don't like or have kids around. And like if you're coming here for a few months or less, like you have to remember that there's a whole lot of people who are here all year round, and that's the way it is all year round. And we've
had like a couple run-ins, us plus our
other
group
families.
of families on a few different occasions, but obviously like we're very observant as well. So we've observed like behavior and stuff like that. Not to say that it's anyone or even the majority, but just specific individuals. And that's how it is here. Like if you go to the beach on a Sunday, there's going to be someone blaring banda music beside you and eating and being loud and barbecuing and drinking. Like that is the culture here. That's why we're here. We absolutely love it. If you don't love it, I mean, Florida's always an option.
Well, yeah, it's just, you can't expect people to be like, oh, well, they're here, so we're going to change the rule, which is literally what happened in one case that who our friends live in a building that they all have kids. We go there to visit them. We all go to the pool. There's, other families there, local families, playing music, having barbecues. Everyone's chill during the summertime. But in the winter, the rules have to change because certain people come and they don't want
to the point where
they don't want the space to be used for parties. They don't want the space to be used where there's music.
Unless it's their parties, because they also do have parties and they have get-togethers. So that's the only exception to the rule. People live there year round. Families live there year round. We have, 3 groups of families that live there year round. And that's just like us knowing people from Toronto. There's a lot of other Mexican families that are there year round.
And we would see them every weekend as well, using the pool, having, eating down there, like having a little Sunday gathering.
It's to the point where they're trying to convert that building into an adults only, no kids allowed building. Like that is completely messed up.
So that you can use it for a few months in your winter, which is not really fair to the people that live here and need a place to live all year round.
Yeah.
The families, that's just our rant.
Our rant. Yeah, we feel attacked because we were at the pool all the time.
And we've literally been attacked. But just, you're coming here, embrace it, embrace the cultural norms.
And we're not talking to any of you guys because you guys are chill.
But tell your friends.
But tell your friends, if they're acting up, tell them to chill out.
Yeah, it's just life here is embrace it, get to know the families. They'll invite you for their food,
you need to adapt to here.
Yeah.
People don't need to adapt to you. On that note, guys, please don't forget to subscribe if you made it this far. Like, comment down below. Ask any questions down below that you may have, and we'll catch you in our next video. This is our journey.
Bye.
More Life Diaries. Peace.